Let's break down the free agent wide receivers right now on Fantasy Football Today in 5. Dave, how you doing, Dave?
I'm great, Adam. I need people to reach out to me. Tell me your interest level in best ball and dynasty leagues. I'm not going to ask for this on the main podcast. Find me on Twitter. Email me, drichard@cbs.com. Just let me know what's your interest level of best ball leagues, dynasty leagues. Thank you.
Just everybody knows real quick. We've had a lot of changes to our email address over time. drichard@cbs.com must have been, you've been at the company for like 20 years.
This is my 22nd year at CBS. Wow. Been here a while. Yeah.
That's your original email address?
Original email address.
Oh my God. Okay. Anyway, that is mega old school. So let's talk free agent wide receivers. Pretty exciting stuff here, right?
This is the money class of free agency. You're going to see running backs change teams, and the quarterbacks really stink. Tight ends might see a lot of guys get franchise tagged, and you're going to see Devontae Adams get franchise tagged too. You'll probably see Chris Godwin also get franchise tagged. But there's a lot of names that fantasy managers know from the past that are not only going to be free agents, but are probably going to change teams. And there's going to be a lot of discussion about whether or not they can either bounce back or keep rolling based on how they did the year prior.
So, all right. So what do you want to see? What do you like? Give me your ideal free agent wide receiver to a destination.
I want to see Adams stay in Green Bay. I want to see the Bucs have a capable quarterback in Godwin to stay with them. I think that's more likely to happen than not. I think Odell Beckham stays in LA as well. He's 30 years old. I don't know how long of a contract he'll get coming off of an ACL. I'll tell you a name that's gaining some steam as far as being a hot free agent wide receiver is Christian Kirk. And I don't know if I necessarily get it. I don't know if I see or believe that Christian Kirk can be anything better than a solid number 2 receiver. But he did come off of a year this past year in Arizona where he wasn't the number 1 receiver week in and week out. And he had almost 1,000 yards and he had 5 touchdowns, I believe. And he's 26 years old. And there are a lot of openings for receiver around the league. Vegas needs one. Chicago needs one. Apparently Buffalo might be interested in Christian Kirk. Who knew that they needed a receiver? We kind of don't want him to go there. Indianapolis needs help opposite of Michael Pittman. Detroit says that they need multiple receivers. Pittsburgh needs to replace Juju with a slot receiver. There are a lot of spots open. I'd like to see Kirk go to a place where he's got a shot at getting close to 120 targets over 17 games.
How about this one from one of our viewers right now, Jake? Juju Smith-Schuster to the Chiefs, please.
And there was a chance of that happening last year. Remember, Juju got attention not just from the Chiefs, but from the Ravens, and he decided to stick it out in Pittsburgh. I don't know why, but he did, and it didn't work out for him because he got hurt. But I feel like Juju is the type of player that needs to be utilized as a short and mid-range target for a quarterback that's not always accurate. I don't think he's a great fit necessarily in Kansas City, and I'd be worried about not only his target volume, but also him taking away work from others in Kansas City. And I don't think the Chiefs need him. Somebody suggested to me, what do the Cleveland Browns need? And the Browns, if they move on from Jarvis Landry, obviously they need somebody a little bit more reliable to take the top off of opposing defenses than Anthony Schwartz. And Donovan Peoples-Jones is going to be a good outside receiver. I think Juju would fit in there as a guy who can be in the spot that Baker Mayfield needs him to be in the middle of the field between the numbers on a regular basis. That would be an interesting place for him to land. Baltimore might be a better spot for Juju to land. Houston might be a better spot for Juju to land. You'll puke at Baltimore, but Houston could actually use him. He could actually be pretty decent again in Houston with Davis Mills firing to him out of the slot.
Yeah, so I wonder with Juju, we probably shouldn't spend the whole time on Juju, but if his career is actually taking a downward turn because of the way they used him in Pittsburgh. I mean, he wasn't basically exclusively a slot receiver his first 2 years, and that was Juju at his best. But any other receivers you want to talk about that have the potential to really dramatically change their fantasy value?
Was Allen Robinson an afterthought in Chicago because he wasn't a good player anymore, or because he butted heads with the coaching staff? There was a little bit that came out after the season that he and Matt Nagy didn't see eye to eye. Does Robinson have some rebound potential to be one of these outside receivers? Jacksonville's a team that needs outside receivers. I don't know if he's a huge upgrade for him. That's one that I think the film would be able to tell us on Allen Robinson. I'm going to look forward to looking into that. Can Will Fuller stay healthy? Does AJ Green, T.Y. Hilton, Emmanuel Sanders, Keelan Cole, do they have anything in left in the tank? And then there's Mike Williams, who's going to get paid no matter where he goes. The Chargers did some good things with him, certainly in the first half of the year. Fantasy managers know all about that. And then when they tried to make him more of a downfield threat, he wasn't as good. And then he also had all those ugly drops in the red zone and in the end zone. It drove me crazy. I'd like to see where he ends up, but I also worry that if he does change teams, that he'll be one of those guys that gets overvalued based on what we got from him last year in a different offense with one of the better quarterbacks in the league.
That's it for fantasy football today in 5. Thanks very much for watching and listening, everybody. We will talk